Hello and welcome to this edition of Behind the Scenes, GOV-TV's look at the film and television industry in Albuquerque. I'm your host, Tony DellaFlora. Last year, a couple of intrepid souls launched the Albuquerque Film and Media Experience, a multi-day, multimedia extravaganza. Buoyed by the success of that event and the support of the city, the co-founders, Ivan Wiener and Lainie Quirk, are back for more. They're with me today to discuss why and what's in store for this year's festival.
There are now an estimated 3,000 film festivals around the world, a lot of competition. And as somebody who's actually been involved running a film festival, I'm curious, why did you want to do another one and why in Albuquerque?
Well, I think Albuquerque is definitely an artist community, and with the popularity in filmmaking and television and the overall arts community, it only made sense to bring something really significant to the community.
There's been a lot of interest in Albuquerque since Breaking Bad and some of the big blockbusters that we've had here. And in traveling around the world, so many people knew Albuquerque. It wasn't like, are we in another country? I mean, they really knew Albuquerque, so we thought we were so poised to really show what we have here on so many levels. So it's exciting that we can really bring that forward through the festival. It's exciting.
Well, describe, again, this is not exactly your typical film festival. It's obviously in the title. It's the media experience here.
Yeah.
Describe what's different about this festival or this event as opposed to other film festivals.
Well, Albuquerque Film and Media Experience is very multi-sensory. We take filmmakers, musicians, artists, dancers, all sorts of different mediums, and we put them all together and we synergize them. Our tagline is "Come tell the ultimate story, yours," and we see a whole mix of that. Last year, to kick off the festival, we had Thomas Dolby. Musician Thomas Dolby brought a short with his film, and then he brought his beautiful music, and he combined the two and did a performance. So we really like people to have the experience on all levels. Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like South by Southwest, but even maybe bigger in some ways or more expansive. Is that a fair description for people maybe?
Bigger or more expansive, I don't know. I've been to South by Southwest. They do a great job down there in Austin. Austin's a mecca for music, so they really know how to combine it. But they seem to have their film one week and music the next week. And I've always experienced South by Southwest more of a music festival.
Yeah.
So we're really with over 80 movies at AFME. We're bringing together photographers, artists, yes, musicians. We have some of the top musicians in the world that are actually coming to perform here. One's kicking off the festival this year with the Buddy Rich alumni tribute concert at the Chemo Theater. Steve Smith, the world's leading drummer who used to drum for Journey, he's going to be sitting in Buddy's chair. So there's nobody else that can really cover Buddy Rich like Steve Smith. He was, Buddy was one of a kind. And then towards the end of the festival, we have Garish, who's one of the top kirtan artists in the world, and he'll be performing at Tech Love with some amazing musicians joining throughout the week.
Yeah, and just to add to that, when we set out to do this, we never said we're going to model after Sundance or model after South by Southwest. We just were inspired and encouraged from Robert Redford, who really gave us the inspiration and moved forward on making a global impact, and knowing we can do that for the state in Albuquerque along Route 66 and all the elements that have now come to pass. But we really never said, let's see what they're doing, how can we do that in Albuquerque? We came together and said, we're going to create an experience where people know the canvas of New Mexico, know the caliber of the Mexico filmmakers, and acknowledge people from abroad in how we can all come together in oneness through the causal films, through the impactful art, through photography exhibits. And what has unfolded almost feels like a movement because so many people are getting involved with it and really feeling the excitement while showing off our great city and state. So it's really become something special.
And one other thing to add is that there's so many people that attended AFME last year that are co-creating projects today. And that happens at other festivals, but it happens so naturally in a natural flow here at AFME. And by bringing together so many different types of artists, there's real magic that's happening here and abroad. One filmmaker from last year met an actor here, and we just found out last week that that actor starred in his first feature film, the director's first feature film in Italy, but they met here at AFME.
Yeah.
So it's stories like that. We have
Numerous.
50 stories like that, where people meet here and they're co-creating and really making an impact in the arts.
Well, one of the things you mentioned when we talked previously was sort of the social awareness component of the festival, the types of movies you bring in. Let's talk a little bit about that. What's coming in? What kind of issues people might see taken up on screen?
Thank you. This year seems a lot of women's issues, although we have many. And it goes perfectly well that not only do we spotlight other countries, this year it's India and Ireland. So our first opening night film is called Sold. Emma Thompson's behind it, stars Gillian Anderson and David Arquette. But it touches heavily on the issues of human trafficking and the girls being taken out of the brothels taken out of the villages of Nepal and India into the brothels. And it's so pivotal, but it's not just pivotal over in India and Nepal, it's happening right here in Albuquerque. And we've been meeting with organizations, one real eye-opener is with All Face, and they've shared how there's a lot of human trafficking going on in our city. And so this is very important that we showcase that things don't happen somewhere else, they're happening in our city. And if we can show films that cause change right here and come together, that's just one example, but we have issues on rape, heroin, alcoholism, autism. I mean, we have a very strong, compelling lineup of very important topics that affect everybody.
And programming around each one of these things, too.
Oh, sure.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting because we do fundraisers with a lot of the films where we raise money from attendance for local charities that support these. And that is one big way we're different than many of the 3,000 festivals around the world. That really is one of our focuses, to be socially impactful and contribute back to the community.
Well, even with the highlighted subject about the wild mustangs, that's so important to the state. So we have several horse films that really touch on the issue, or at least bring the awareness about the wild mustang issue and supporting them. So we have across the broad programming that brings this into the light.
Great.
Yeah.
You get 75 films this year. I know it's hard to pick your favorite children out of those. But for the average film fan, what are some of the highlights, do you think, or some of the ones that you must-see movies that you think that people need to come and check out?
Well, I mean, it really starts, I think, with the New Mexico filmmakers.
Yeah.
So the block of New Mexico shorts that we have at the Chemo Theater kicks off the festival on Tuesday, June 3rd. So Tuesday, June 3rd, right before our big opening night movie. So, the New Mexico shorts are definitely a block that we're really proud of. Do the Right Thing. We're doing the 25th anniversary screening. Other films, that I really enjoy are some of the comedy films that we're showing at the Guild one night. And then one that I'm really looking forward to the reaction of the community is Los Wild Ones.
Yes.
And it's the history of a gentleman named Reb Kennedy, who is the president and CEO of Wild Records. He's Irish and moved to LA and opened a record label. Originally rock and roll, but most of his acts are Mexican rockabilly.
Yeah, he calls it Mexibilly.
Mexibilly.
And he actually, we were over at the Dublin Film Festival, since we're highlighting Ireland as well, and that documentary took best of the entire festival. And we knew it was a winner, and when we spoke to him, it was more about, we have an incredible community here. We're really big into music, and we mentioned this to Route 66 Casino, and it was a complete win. So now we get to show the documentary in the Legends Theater, and two of the top acts from his label and who are in the documentary are headlining at the MV nightclub. So it's a good match. It features Ireland, it's got music, it's a great opportunity for everybody to have a good time.
And speaking of that, we have The Commitments.
Yes.
That's showing.
Yeah.
Music.
And Irish.
movies.
And Irish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Commitments, I mean, classic from 1991, really a lot of fun, so we're showing that during the festival as well.
But there's also an impactful reason we're showing it, and that
Yep.
goes to AFME Foundation, which is our foundation. One of our major platforms is called Taylor's Calling, and it's a heroin awareness and education program. So the entire week we are focusing on films that showcase heroin and depict it in some way, whether it's through education or the failures and the pitfalls of this tragedy that's affecting so many. And we're also going to have a 4-hour program that's dedicated to support films, music videos, organizations in the community. The whole thing that will be taking place on Saturday, June 7th. So KRQE is getting involved. We're going to have some PSAs. We're really wanting to take a stand and support everybody who's affected, which everybody on some way, shape, or form these days have been affected by heroin. We're meeting so many people. Steve Paternoster called us and said, I'm opening up Elaine's. Let's have an incredible fundraiser. So we have a fundraiser brunch going on Sunday. So everything stems around taking what we can do through film, through media, through the arts, and showcasing some of these community topics that are affecting everybody. Yeah.
Do you have any favorites out of the lineup that?
Yeah, I
you
do.
Call your friends and say you got to come and see this.
Well, a couple. One track, Heart, is the story of Krishna Das, who people might not know him as Krishna Das. Some people will in the Hindu and the Kirtan community. But this was a gentleman who his whole career was going to go the way of being the lead singer of Blue Oyster Cult. And he went to India, found his guru, and his life completely changed. And he became Krishna Das, and he is the world's largest kirtan artist who's got millions of following, and it's the complete story of his life. So one of his band members who played with him is Girish, and he will be here live, who's now a big artist and performer himself. And Frontera, our closing night film. We are so thrilled to have this, starring Eva Longoria, Ed Harris, Michael Pena, Amy Madigan, and what that amazing film shot here focuses on border crossing issues. And it also has some subject matters that also relate to some of our women issues. So there's a lot of tie-ins there. We're really excited to have that.
I know you guys are still working out the lineup, but who are some of the special guests that are going to be here this year?
Oh, well, Sharon Lawrence, most people know her from NYPD Blue. We just confirmed Stephen Baldwin. He's going to be at the festival.
Wow.
Annika Marks, who was in the Academy Award-winning movie The Sessions. Giancarlo Esposito was scheduled to attend.
Brett Butler.
Brett Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giancarlo, our favorite villain. So
Yeah.
most people have to recall and most of the time don't remember. He played in Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pictures online that show the comparison of Gus versus God, I forget the name of his character in Do the Right Thing.
We also have behind the camera Joshua Michael Stern, very famous director. He did the Jobs movie. He was here with the Kevin Costner movie.
The Swing Vote.
Yeah, so it's exciting to see in our world, celebrity directors and filmmakers, and we have a lot of them behind the scenes, and you'll see a lot of that when they also come to see our intimate conversations, where you can really see in a small environment conversations, and then into our panels.
Yeah, and one of the cool guests that's coming, he was here last year and loved it so much he's coming back, is Federico Castelluccio, better known as Furio from The Sopranos.
Yeah.
So he just had such a great time, and he said he's traveled the world to film festivals and found AFME to be so unique. Yeah, he really wanted to come back. So he'll be on some panels and doing an intimate conversation.
Yeah. You might see some other well-known people popping up. I mean, in this business, people are coming and going, and they hear the excitement, and when their schedule frees up. So we're excited about that. But then I think in our mind, we're seeing like the true star are the causes and the films. And we see when the celebrities show up, they're almost the supporters of these films that are coming to be. So we're almost looking at the films themselves and the causes as the real celebrities here. Because those are the ones making the difference. And everyone who comes to it, we're excited to have everyone.
Yeah, and filmmakers too. The filmmakers are the real stars of AFME. They work diligently to create a movie, and it takes a lot of effort, as you know, to make a movie. So to complete one and do an incredible job where it's accepted to festivals worldwide, we want to honor them in a really big way.
Cool. While we're talking about it, if people want to keep up to speed on what's appearing, what the movies are, where can they go online to find?
ABQFilmX.com, very simple, easy to navigate. You can buy passes. You could buy individual tickets, whatever your time allows, but we make it simple. We even have a Saturday day pass. Saturday is a lot of honoring of India. Friday is a lot of honoring Ireland. There's something for everybody this week. So abqfilmix.com.
We'll mention that again before the end of the show.
Okay,
That's
great.
great.
I want to switch gears a little bit. The City Council, you managed to convince them to grant you $50,000 this year, put on the festival, which is great. Having
Thank
tried to
you.
get money out of City Council before, I know what an epic thing that was. But obviously, they saw the value of what you guys were doing in terms of economic impact. Talk
Sure.
about that a little bit, about the numbers of people who came out and what it meant to the economy.
We were really fortunate in year one, to have the Redfords on board, and it drew crowds of 5,300 people, so close to $2.8 million worth of economic impact in a 7-day period. So we were blown away. Everybody was blown away by the numbers, and I think it exceeded many people's expectations, especially the mayor and city council. They were very, very pleased with the program, with the excitement of everybody in attendance from out of town, and what it did for tourism dollars. So, our board of directors is very, very active and strong, and fortunate to have Clara Apodaca, the former First Lady of the state of New Mexico, went with us to meet with every city councilor and really sit down and explain our vision, not just for this year, but for the long term for Albuquerque, and how we really have a chance as a community to create a huge economic impact. And it was proven in year one, and we're expecting 8,000 to 10,000 people in year two. So you know what those numbers look like with hotels and restaurants and the like.
We have so many people who remember the moment when we did an evening with Robert Redford and Mayor Barry made the introduction, and he said that what we have done in the first year is usually what you see it takes other festivals 10 years, and he dubbed us the Con of the Southwest. And that's all great and it's glamorous, but really we're in the streets and down to earth working with the community, because we know this is causing an opportunity for so many people who never thought of maybe bringing their businesses into the film industry. We're really big into creating jobs. We are very supportive of retention. Remember speaking to the Franks at UNM and how all of us so feel that when these young generations, our future generations, want to graduate from our colleges, that they don't just immediately go to LA or New York, that we have so much going on here that we can keep them here. I mean, for us, the dream would be that in future years, people graduate from other places and come to Albuquerque.
Right.
So that's economic development, and we see so much of it happening. If there's enough jobs here, the people, the crews that come from LA, they buy a house. And so we're seeing all the ways that if we create this opportunity for better awareness of the film community, economic impact goes right in hand with it.
Yeah, and one action that we took was to create internships for students from all the colleges throughout New Mexico. Even high school students last year jumped on board with internships. And we have over 350 volunteers this year and interns. And it's making an impact. We're showing them the operational end of AFME and allowing them to be out in the community during the festival and really making an impact and representing the city.
Well, back to the experience. One of the things that caught my eye was the Reel to Table event. Tell me
So
about
much
that.
fun.
Reel to Table is, it's like our baby. It had
is.
such a wonderful response last year, and it's exploding this year. So the concept of it is that we hand select 7 films out of our entire 80-plus lineup or whatever we have, and we have top chefs in town. This year we have 2 wonderful chefs, Chef Jamie and Chef Ernesto, and they have taken themes based on those films. We showed them the films, and they have chosen courses with each film that relates to it. So they've interpreted those films in such an incredible way. So you see 5 films, 5 courses, and
It's the trailers to the film.
yeah, the trailers,
show.
and then the 2 courses.
It'll be a long
Yeah, it'll be a long. It's already a long evening, but it's an amazing long evening. And then 2 courses will be created through drinks and beverages.
When you first
Okay.
approached the chefs about this, did they kind of look at you like, what the hell?
This year, no, because
Yeah.
after the success of last year, we had chefs from around the state calling us,
us.
wanting to be chefs at Reel
Yeah.
to Table, which was neat. And we took a movie from last year. We use it as a great example, Moses on the Mesa, about a Jewish immigrant who came to New Mexico in the late 1800s. He became the first governor of a Native American pueblo out at Acoma, and not many people know that. So this was a short documentary, actually feature about this, and so the chef created a matzo ball soup with duck and red chili to represent both cultures. So those are the type of creative ideas the chefs come up with. And yeah, it's a great time.
Believe it or not, we have a whole film called From Bean to Bar, the artisan of chocolate making. So of course that's a natural for the dessert course.
Yeah.
And between the two of them, they're sharing in this chocolate extravaganza. So the finale this year, we show the trailer of Bean to Bar, which is a great movie. That's one of my favorites. And then they show an interpretation through chocolate. So it's good.
Yeah.
We've just got a few more minutes before we have to wrap up here, but on a whole other component are panels. People in the industry or looking to break into the industry.
Yeah.
You've got a whole variety of things for them to look into here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have 8 panels that are taking place at our host hotel, Hotel Cascada, starting on Thursday, June 5th. And we start with the documentary and social impact panel. Cinematographers panel is the same day. As we get towards the weekend, we pick up with other panels like Hollywood Point of View panel, where we have actors and directors that sit on that. There's
and that
also
sounds really important to me. That's really about the new economics, how Hollywood's working today, and if you're trying to get into business, this is
that is a great panel to be at. One of my favorites each year is Women in Film, and we have some of the top women in the industry. Some right here from New Mexico that'll be on that panel. And then Sunday, financing your film and distribution. You know, just like with Hollywood Point of View, the economics of it changing, so is financing your film and distributing your film. You know, there's self-distribution, there's the major studios, you know, so there's some experts that are going to sit on this panel that are really going to give an education to those in attendance. So
they all sold out last year, so we encourage everybody to purchase their tickets for that. So we want to make sure that everyone gets the knowledge that they have. For instance, last year we had an intimate conversation with Emily Katz, Hollywood makeup artist. She was the head makeup artist for Lost, 24, Charlie Sheen's Anger Management. So she's back. She had such a great time. We're doing she's basically doing a demonstration and teaching people on what it is to really break into Hollywood makeup artistry. So we're excited to have her and several others like that. They're all listed on the website, so we have a few to choose from.
Yeah, I think the biggest panel that I forgot to mention is Saturday morning, June 7th. It's going to be our casting panel. And we have the top casting directors in the state, Joe Edna Bolden, Kira, who worked on Breaking Bad. We have Kathy Brink and Angelique Midthunder. Matt Page, who did several feature films here in town, and Enter the Dojo, of course. He's going to be the moderator, so it's going to be an extremely fun panel with Matt moderating, and everybody wants to see Joe Edna and the rest of the panelists, so that's going to be a biggie.
What about Stu Lyons? Talk about Stu Lyons.
We have an intimate conversation with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul's line producer, Stu Lyons.
Right.
So that's going to be huge that Saturday as well. So Saturday's a really big day at AFME.
I want to thank you again, Ivan Wiener, Lainie, Quirk, for visiting with us on Behind the Scenes. Good luck with this year's film and media experience. Hope it's a great success.
Appreciate it, Tony.
Thank you.
We're here at the renowned Chemo Theater in downtown Albuquerque. Folks in the know are already aware that Albuquerque is the best place in the world to film, but now we've got some hardware to prove it. The Location Managers Guild of America recently named the Albuquerque Film Office as the outstanding film commission in the world for its work on the hit TV show Breaking Bad and the feature film Lone Survivor. With me today are the two people most responsible for that honor: Ann Lerner, Film Liaison for the City of Albuquerque, and Assistant Film Liaison, Carrie Wells.
First of all, congratulations on the award. How was the red carpet ceremony?
This award that we received is really a win for Albuquerque, for the city. Do you want to hear what it says on it?
Yes.
Albuquerque Film Commission, that would be Carrie and Ann. Outstanding Film Commission, Breaking Bad and Lone Survivor 2014. This was the LMGA, Location Manager Guild Association's first annual award ceremony. There were 6 categories. Of the 6 categories, Albuquerque was represented in 3 of them. And the one that we won was Outstanding Film Commission, competing against Iceland for The Secret Life of Walter Mitty and 3 LA film commissions.
What exactly do you do for producers when they come here?
I work primarily with the location managers. So what I do is I'll issue the permits for the productions. So when they've decided the locations that they'd like to film, I gather my permit committee, my fantastic permit committee, together, and with the location manager we'll have a meeting, we'll go over all of the permits. The committee will answer any questions that they may have, and then they'll sign off on the permits, allowing the productions to do the things that they need to do.
Okay, so you've got to know about, or have departments there that know about blocking off streets, determining what hours somebody could work at a location. What other kind of things are specifically you have to go over?
Well, the people that we have in the permit meetings are police, fire, solid waste. We need to think about, is it trash pickup day? And if we close the street, are people going to get their trash picked up? So we coordinate that. We need to work with parking. What if they're closing down a street or filming in an area where there are parking meters? We need to make sure that those meters are bagged. Or if they want to shoot in a parking lot, we need to work with parking for that. Fire for special effects, for any standby, if there are any stunts, things like that. Municipal development for the road closures. And environmental health for the food that they serve to the crew. Also for noise permits, so if they're filming between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., the city of Albuquerque has a noise ordinance that doesn't allow amplified noise above a certain decibel, then we need to issue a noise permit. So they'll be involved as well to issue that permit and sign off on the permit. We try hard to do is keep Albuquerque film friendly, and the reason why it is because we ask all of the productions to notify the neighborhoods and the businesses of in the areas that they'll be filming. So they will produce a letter of notification that we'll approve, and they'll go out and notify the area and say, this is what's happening, this is the filming that's going to happen in your area, with contact information as well. So in case the businesses or residents have questions, they're welcome to call anybody from the production that's listed or our office.
And we also started in 2008 a suggestion when a film is in town and they're in a neighborhood association, that for each day that they're in that neighborhood association, that they give $100 to the neighborhood association. How much money have we raised to date, Carrie?
We've raised over $75,000 through the donations. So the productions have donated that much to the various neighborhood associations.
And it keeps Albuquerque film friendly.
Yeah. So, Carrie, what's the difference between doing all this work for a movie versus a TV series?
Well, the difference is that with a movie, generally they have more time to plan, weeks, to find their locations, and then I issue all the permits at once, and we're pretty much good to go. Maybe there's a couple of changes, but we take care of that one time. With an episodic, a television series, we're looking at a new episode every week and a half or so, every 10 days. So that means that the production has received the script the week before. They're hurriedly scrambling to find their locations and produce those locations, and then they come to me, and I have a couple of days to get those permits turned around so they can film. So it's very fast-paced, and we work really quickly, and that's the difference.
And you're pretty much on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
I am. We are.
Can you tell me what projects you're assisting at this moment?
Well, I can tell you that we have 2 major movies that we'll be shooting in the Albuquerque area this summer, and a TV show that is coming in, as well as the stuff that we'll be filming, like Hieroglyphs, Manhattan, Longmire up in Santa Fe. So it's going to be a very, very busy summer.
Good.
Thanks for joining us on Behind the Scenes. We'll see you next time.